My name's Guy Kestevan. I've been a professional bike and kit tester for over 25 years. But probably the longest stint of bike testing I've ever witnessed has just been done by Ryan on, well, inverted commas, my Cervelo ZFS5, which I lent him for a particularly horrible enterprise a couple of weeks ago. So, Ryan, talk us through, what was it?
Well, it was an Everesting, and we all know what Everesting is, I'm guessing, but if you don't, Everesting is riding up and down the same hill until you have reached the elevation of 8,848 meters, which is the same height as Mount Everest.
But you did a bit extra, right?
I did a little bit extra, yeah.
Just in case.
Well, you always do a bit extra just in case. The rules, because there are rules, are pretty strict, which is that you have to go...
Because you actually have to, like, affiliate your ride, don't you? You have to send it in for approval.
There is an Everesting group official board, that sort of have a hall of fame that you will be entered into if you can send them, like a GPS file or a Strava file, which shows that you've done this on any hill in the world, and people have done it all over the world now. I've done it a few times before on the road, but we have talked quite a lot about...
You have?
I think we talked about it. We have talked quite a bit about doing it off-road and doing it somewhere that...
Yeah, off-road, but nobody thought you should do it Stainburn. I mean, look at it. I mean, this is one of the nice bits. I mean, you know, I do most of my test videos here just precisely because it's so janky and horrible and great at beating bikes and riders to a pulp. I mean, I think, because I did a few laps with you in the middle of the night just to check you were still alive, and you still outrode me then. Yeah. There's about a 3 metre section of flow, isn't there? If you dodge a jump just up the trail, just up there, there's just like... There's a nice swoop around a tree, but it's literally like 3 meters of mild euphoria, and then just more unrelenting, either just horrible, like, because you didn't do, just to be clear, you did red descent and the red climb, so you didn't cross to the other side of the push-up and do the really horrible old black stuff.
No. But
you did almost worse. You went up the push-up line for a little bit and then rejoined the red, and then went up to the top of the red. Yeah,
I did that because I picked a route that got me back up to the top, staying on as much as the trail as possible that people always know and ride.
Yeah.
But without dropping back downhill in the
middle because you can't do that on an Everest, isn't it?
No, not really. I mean, the only exceptions for not going back up the way you've come are when you are on a one-way trail, like here at Stainburn.
Yeah. But how many laps was it?
So it worked out very conveniently. Precisely 100 laps was the number that needed to be done. So we said, we'll do 101 to be sure.
That's right. I should probably show you lap counter at this point.
High tech.
Yeah.
Amazon 8 for a £5, I think. Yeah.
And that worked fine.
Took every time.
That worked fine. Whereas the Hammerhead,
really reliable.
Ran, just stopped taking a charge.
It just. What can you say? Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
fine.
Apparently it's a water issue. You've chatted to Hammerhead since, and there's a new gasket coming
to
sort it out. Yeah.
But, and so do I now.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah. So it worked out at 100 laps, and so we said, well, 101 to make sure, and had a couple of laps in the week before, just to see how long might that take. And I rode round at a pace that I thought, I could do this for a long time. And that worked out at about 12, 13 minutes a lap. And then you times that by 100, and it's going to be a long ride.
Yeah. I think the slowest you do is like 14 and a half, just before dawn.
Yeah.
That was when we started looking a bit worried. When we first met you, you looked positively possessed, and you were flying around early afternoon. You were like proper demented. I should say, Ryan did do it on a full moon, which has raised questions about whether there's some kind of, lupine aspect to his performance. Nobody heard him howling, but and then that was kind of the low point just before dawn, and then he picked it back up again, like down to about 13 minutes again. But overall, it was just over 21 hours riding.
Yeah, I always knew it was going to be, give or take, roughly a 24-hour sort of thing.
Yeah.
with a bit of brake, you know, a bit
Yeah.
of sliding space, and it worked out in the end. 21 hours of riding, give or take a few minutes, and about 27 hours with, you know, all of the little stops for a quick cup of tea or snacks without being on the bike.
Yeah.
So, and they add up. You know, that is a thing.
Yeah.
Those little 5-10 minutes.
A lot of it was
stops.
self-supported as well. I mean, you had people coming up, but you know,
Yeah,
you pretty much you were just kind of running your own mission every time you dropped in. You know, it's like I swapped a grip for you, I think, and that was oiled the chain, but everything else you were fully on board with yourself. You didn't have like a massive team or anything, did you?
No, it was my van with a bunch of stuff in the back and a chair to sit on when I needed a quick breather. Yeah.
And we should say, what was this all in aid of? Apart from your own, sadomasochistic tendency.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do this for Bone Cancer Research Trust, which was important for me to do, and it really helped. Actually, it helped keep me going as well, knowing that I'd persuaded a lot of people to donate to a brilliant charity. Just made me know that I would have extra reason when I got to that bit in the middle of the night where you thought,
yeah, when you've had enough of my singing, and
that happened.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll make sure there's a link in the comments below that you can go on Ryan's Just Giving page for this awesome enterprise. But yeah,
thank you for that.
But yeah, so bike it's like I say, it's my Cervelo ZFS, set up in 120mm travel with new SID Ultimate and SID Lux rear shock. It's SRAM XXSL transmission with a power crank on it, and it's the new Zip 10 high top wheels as well, which weren't out when you did it. And then what else did we do? Derivative bar and stem, which don't look much, but they're actually really, really light and really, I mean, I think it's about 10 grams heavier than the Syncross all-in-one I took out, and a lot more adjustable, and it meant you could run proper bar and stem, proper lights, and everything like that, and a GPS and things like that.
Yeah, I needed the bar space.
Yeah. All wireless, reverb dropper. We went with a specialised 3D printed saddle. It's a bit of a leap of faith, because I just said, yeah, I reckon that'll work. You hadn't ridden it at all previous.
No, just jumped on it for the Everesting first time. Yeah, worked out very well, actually, which is a good marker.
Yeah, and Arundel carbon cages, because you didn't want to lose them. Oh, Enduro bearings BB in there as well. So I'm just trying to think, what issues did we have?
Well,
final modifications. Because Ryan knew he wasn't going to be sprinting or needing the lockout at any point, because you want to run your own grips, you took the twist lock off.
Yeah, I just felt like a twist lock would have rubbed against my hand after,
Well, it turns out you tore that ergon grip very quickly.
And grips do turn out to be really important. So choose them wisely if you're going to do a really long off-road event, because you'd be surprised at how little tiny friction points really become a big issue.
Yeah.
And I went straight through the base of a brand new ergon grip, where my
foam grip, because we went with foam grips. We thought maximum padding.
Sure, yeah, and just went straight through it to the bar within about 12 hours.
Yeah. If that, actually.
Maybe it is.
But so we swapped. That was the one bit we swapped out mid-ride.
We did.
Apart from one battery, wasn't it? I think we went through an Axis.
An Axis battery on the rear mech. So it was about 45 shifts per lap. So I did about 4,500 shifts over the course of that ride.
Yeah, because we had the data on the hammerhead for like 2/3 of the ride, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was well towards 4,000 by the time that I'd done. But overall, the shifting,
flawless, actually. And I guess one thing about the bike generally is, if you're going to do an event like this, where it's endurance and it's technical, you're always going to be making the best compromise you can possibly make. It's always going to be a compromise between, I want loads of grip, I want travel.
So we went forecast to front tyre just for a bit more grip, and we had it because we had a supercal as well. Well, I say you had the Trek supercal that I've been testing in the van, which is slightly lighter, faster rolling, less travel. But we thought this would probably just give a little bit more cushioning. But as it turns out, you say you reckon you want more travel.
In hindsight, I would have taken a bit more travel and a bit more weight just to stop the battering that I took every time I went down this descent line. It was by far. Normally on an Everesting, it's all about the climb because you just cruise down a hill. But for this Everesting, it was all about the descent, and I actually, even though it was a technical climb over rocks, obstacles, I still viewed that as a bit of a breather, ready for.
I think to be fair, that says quite a lot about the level of your fitness as well. But no, I mean, I'd agree. I was far more worried about the violence of the descent, and what that would, do to you. To be honest, we did put a Cushcore liner in the rear. You can see you can see the amount of wear on the tyre carcass there, and the little tyre whiz. I think we just lost a bit of pressure in the rear, didn't we? Yeah. Towards the end, because the little blinker on there went red rather than green, because it's got that little LED alarm on there, which is pretty useful, to be honest. Yeah, I'm surprised how much. Anyway, sorry, that's a different chat, really. But so, what would you change? More travel?
I'd have a bit more travel on the front for sure. Maybe another 20 mil. This is 120 this year. Like a 140.
But you're going up a category of bike there, really.
This is the end. This is the compromise, isn't it? And it's really hard to choose where to make your trade-off.
Yeah, because this, I mean, I guess in this, we haven't actually weighed it, have we? I think I'll put the caption up, but I'm guessing it's around 11 kilos. Whereas your tall boy's probably about 13. You've got a tall boy 3. Yeah. It's the bike you normally ride. So you're saving 2 kilos.
Which is a lot. And I say in hindsight, I'd have taken more travel and a bit more weight. But at the end of the day, this was a brilliant compromise because I got it done.
I guess,
It got the job done, and I wasn't sure starting it if I would get the job done.
No, well, some of us weren't sure halfway through. Yeah. Looking a bit dark at dawn at one point, even for you. And I think what else? We had rear axle came loose.
Yes. Yeah.
That just shook loose, and that you picked that up in the shifting. And one thing I found out today, show us the rear brake, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this lovely moment when you go to start something epic and you just have a quick check as you roll in, and you get that.
Yeah, because
all the way.
I presumed that had happened when it's hung on the wall since you've ridden. No. And something's happened to the rear brake since you rode it. We're like, oh no, it did that the first time I rolled in. And I was like,
so it was
psycho.
Quick pump before we go in, and we've got a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, that's every proper mind-boggling. Anyway. Oh, and also this makes me chuckle as well, because I put can't quit stickers on the bars, and then Ryan had to put the little lap counter on there, which made it into can quit. So possibly the least aspirational statement you could have gone into this mission with, but yeah, it turns out you didn't. Anyway,
weirdly worked in my head. No, I can't. Yeah, you can. No, I can't.
Right, okay. Yeah, so there you go. Those are the discussions we like having out there.
Yeah, we had
but yeah, so bike generally, without lockout, no dramas, just...
Mega. Absolutely mega. Yeah, no lockout required, that's for sure. It was a technical climb, so you want traction when you're climbing. So
it's pretty efficient. I've just been riding it now. It's pretty efficient anyway. Yeah. I thought it might, because it defaults to full open with the cable off. That's obviously, we didn't want something that was rigid with the cable off, but I'm actually going to change up to Fox next anyway. I've got Fox shock and fork on, so be interesting to back to back. Not least because that fork probably needs a service now.
I think it's got a little bit less plush.
Yeah, poor thing. It's seen some things.
It definitely has. Yeah, it has. Yeah, but again, it's a great fork, that new Sid. So.
Oh, and that's one thing I was going to ask. Did you ever get used to the new pod shape?
Better. I got on better with it.
You see, I think it's those little nubbins. I think those new buttons have really helped.
Yeah, they definitely improve things for sure. I mean,
it sounds like a tiny thing. I only changed them because I knocked them off the Epic World Cup I had, and so I found the little packet. They're just slightly more canted over. They're just slightly smaller button than standard. Yeah. And I find that it's remarkable how much that helps, but I still think it's the It's definitely the worst part of that system.
I definitely miss the ergonomics of the old shift sort of
Yeah.
button arrangement,
Yeah.
but I cannot say enough that not having to push a cable gear shift for 4,500 times in that event.
God.
Well, call it an event. It wasn't an event because no one else was there. So in that ride, that made a big difference.
Yeah.
I probably would have had a
Thumbs up, then.
issues.
Thumbs up for Axis.
We will say.
Sorry,
Speaking of
very
digits,
cheesy.
my big toes on both feet are still weirdly numb. Actually,
Not that weird, but yeah.
yeah, they have weird pins and needle.
It's kind of an RSI, isn't it? It's vibration white toe.
Yeah, that's my long-standing issue since.
Yeah. But remarkable, that's all there is. And only one crash.
Yeah, one comedy crash.
One absolute comedy crash, which was literally first lap I jumped in with you. You went, right, look at all my amazing lines.
Yeah.
And literally the first corner out of the car park, you sat on your ass.
I did.
Which was a comedy high point. And then I joined you for like the last lap and did exactly the same.
You did. You did that for me.
Yeah, I know. There you go. Wingman. So, yeah. Hope that's been interesting for you. I mean, it's been certainly an interesting update on the bike.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone is out there that's thinking of doing an off-road, or they call it a soil Everest.
Soiled Everest.
They call it soil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, get in touch if you want, because there's lots to talk about. Once you start thinking about it,
yeah,
there's a lot to think about and consider. Yeah. So
yeah. And I actually built up a bike specifically for the purpose of pursuing Ryan around in the middle of the night. So based on my Druid, long-termer for MBR. So I'll be doing a talk through on that as well, because that's quite a different vehicle. But for now, massive thanks to Ryan for putting the miles on his bike. It was great to be able to come out with those zip wheels and go, well, this is what we've already done on them, and they're absolutely fine. You know, they've held up really well.
They held up very well.
You know, they've got their design to be slightly more compliant than a super stiff wheel. But they've had a battering, and the hubs have held up fine, which isn't, you know, always a point of contention with Zip if you ever talk about them in forums or on the internet. Everyone's, oh, Zip hubs. But yeah, seem fine so far. And so yeah, just need to have a look at the brake. I've actually got some other brakes to put on there. But like I say, this is an ongoing test bike, so we'll go on that. And massive thanks to Ryan, who's also one of my Patreon supporters, and those guys pledge on a monthly basis to support the channel, and that makes a big difference. So if you really like what I'm doing here on Guy-Case TV, then please consider supporting me on Patreon. But otherwise, click for notifications, click for subscriptions, give this a thumbs up like. Most importantly, go to Ryan's Just Giving page.
Oh yeah, justgiving.com/pages/off-road Everest, I think it is.
That's where, click that button, get a bit of gift aid on there as well. And push right. You're already over the target, which is awesome.
Yeah, I did go over the target, but
the better we can go, then better, mate.
Nice.
Marvellous event. Yeah, it was harrowing, but bloody heroic to watch. Really was. Cheers.
Nice.